I would like to explain to you the interesting story of the London Bridge. Now, let's start with the film Braveheart. Have you watched that film? Can you remember what happens in that film at the very end? The last few scenes. Well, what happens in the film, in the last few scenes, is that William Wallace, who's the leader of the Scottish rebellion, he's being tortured. Well, after the film, what happens? Because you know, the film is based on a true story. Well, they take his body, they cut off his head, and they put his head on a pole. And they put the pole on London Bridge. And the pole is left there with the head of William Wallace on the pole for more than 20 years. The English wanted to give the Scottish a powerful warning not to do the same thing again. Well, let's go forward about 450 years. The place is Arizona. There is an American businessman. Now, imagine him with the cowboy hat, with the cigar. He's in Arizona, which is basically a huge desert. Well, this guy, in one part of that desert, he doesn't see sand. He doesn't see what me and you see. He sees a city. He sees a city with schools, with hospitals, with thousands of houses. He sees a community. And despite everyone saying that he's crazy, he starts to build. He's a rich guy, and he starts construction. Now, over time, he can see that he needs to bring something a bit special to the area to make it attractive, so people move there from all over the country. The first idea he has is to build an artificial river through his city, because he researches cities and he sees that most of the most beautiful cities in the world, they all have rivers going through them. So he constructs an artificial river from the nearby mountains. Now this was a huge job, but he did it. So he has his city under construction and he has an artificial river flowing through. But it's still not enough for him. He wants more. He thinks, what else can I add to make it more attractive? Yes, I need a bridge. I need a famous bridge. He asks a few guys, what's the most famous bridge in the world? There's a few bridges which are quite famous, but he decides, yeah, London Bridge, I want it. Now, this guy, when he wants something, he usually gets it. He flies to London. Now, what he didn't know, and I guess he's quite lucky, is that the London Council manage London, they had been planning for years to demolish the bridge. Why demolish it? Because it's 500 years old and it's sinking into the river. Anyway, he speaks to the mayor, and the mayor basically says to him, oh, we can't sell it, no, impossible, it's, you know, one of London's most important tourist attractions. But anyway, he persuades him and he gives a lot of money for this bridge. Now, everyone wins. He gets his bridge, and the London Council was going to demolish it anyway, so they earn some nice money. But he's got a bit of a problem. Now, the London Bridge is a huge bridge over the Thames River in London. How can he transport that back to America? He has quite an interesting plan. The London Bridge isn't made of metal like modern bridges. The London Bridge is made of thousands and thousands of bricks. He decides to number each brick with a different number. So, for a few months, they're taking the bricks from the London Bridge and putting a special number on each one. They put the brick into a truck goes to a ship in the port, and he's rented the ship. So after a few weeks, all of the bricks are on the ship sails to Los Angeles, And then from Los Angeles, another fleet of trucks take the bricks from Los Angeles to Arizona, and guys there are with the numbers of the bricks. They're putting together the bridge in exactly the same way that they took it apart. So, now, his city is still under construction. It's not finished. Taking years. He has an artificial river flowing through the city, and he even has London Bridge over it. And he thinks, yes, I'm close. But he consults with the accountant again. So, are we selling the houses? And the guy says, no. So he thinks, oh my God, what else can I do to suck in the people? So he thinks, yes, I need a proper opening ceremony. Now, who can open this bridge? First he thinks of famous American people. But then he thinks, no, not an American. I need an English person to open the London Bridge. What about the Prime Minister? He says, no, Prime Minister, boring guy. Ah, I know. Who's the leader of England? The Queen. I want her to open the bridge. So he calls the palace and speaks to some kind of secretary, and eventually he gets through to the Queen. And incredibly, she accepts. Now, the Queen is thinking that it's a good advertising opportunity. It's good marketing for the royal family. So she flies to America, first to New York, then to Los Angeles. And from Los Angeles, in her Rolls Royce, in fact there was a fleet of cars, they drive to this big city under construction in the desert. Now, I want you to imagine the scene. There's this huge city. There's this artificial river flowing through the city. London Bridge, the original London Bridge, to the same dimensions, is over that river. And imagine, there were people on balconies watching this. The Queen of England was standing on the bridge, opening that to the public. Now, after this happened, a few days later, he asked the accountant, okay, how's it going? And the accountant said, yes, we have sold most of the houses. And that is the story of London Bridge.